Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of different things. One of the things was, I'll start with this one. It's more of my personal stuff, but so yesterday was just a weird day altogether. There was a lot of weird stuff that was happening. But then when I went to bed last night, the I don't know, my person, they were there in my dream. They've come a lot of times. That's another thing, like, that I'm curious to talk to them about. But so they came into my dreams. In my dreams, I was being real aware. It was weird. But I was someplace and I kept going to the, like, I don't know if it was different rooms or what. Like, you move different in dreams, you know. You have to walk somewhere. You're just there. And then you're just somewhere else. And so, you know, that's why I know, like, this whole concept of we got to drive somewhere, fly somewhere. No, that's control. So anyways, you know, I was going from these places, but this person kept being there. Everywhere I was going, they kept being there. And then there was this one part, and I was in this room. I walked into this room, and it was kind of like a luncheon room or something. And I walked up to this table, and there was some people sitting at this table, and I walked up and started talking to them. And then across, so there was like an in-between where you could walk between the tables, but then the next table over, he was sitting there across from these two people, and they were just sitting there talking. And I felt very much like he was ignoring me. And then I had on shorts and a tank top, which, I mean, it has to be pretty hot for me to dress like that. And so I'm standing there, and so I asked my guys this morning, and I'm like, you know, what is that all about? Like, why was I in shorts? And they said exposed. And so anyways, it felt like he knew I was there and he could see me, but he was purposely ignoring me, which was making me feel exposed. You know what I mean? It was trippy. It's trippy how all this stuff works. It's so interesting. But anyways, you know, so it was weird. It was right after that happened. It seems like I woke up, but every time I would go back to sleep, I kept going back to wherever it was I was at. And he kept being there. So I don't know where it was we were at, but this has happened a lot of times. So, yesterday, this is a good one too. This was such a perfect kind of thing to really get you to know the importance of you listening with your own ears, your own eyes, and making your own decisions, because you have your own lens to look through, and looking through somebody else's is going to be distorted always. That is the big problem, why everybody's looking through everyone else, trying to be seen through everyone else's. No, it is distortion. So and this one was, you know, I had tried to find Trump's speech. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find him live. I don't know where it was ever said. I don't know anything about where it was. Like, because I don't have regular, I just have the internet. So I just watch like Hulu or Netflix or Prime or YouTube. Usually I'm just on YouTube. So anyways, when I had heard these people talking, they seemed like, you know, they were disappointed, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You know, and she went through this whole long thing. And so then, and she kept going, believe me, you didn't miss anything. And so now I'm feeling like, okay, does this girl know what's going on? Or is she like some sort of, what are these people called? Op? I don't know, paid opposition or something. Because this was strange. So she's sitting there going through all this whole thing, you know, oh, it was just a waste of time. I'm so disappointed, blah, blah, blah. And so then I saw somebody else share a clip, and I only saw a minute and a half maybe of it. And I was like coming out my skin. I was so excited. I had to go make a thing real quick. I was in the comments and I had to go record. And then I was like, oh, I got to tell, you know, I got to do this one in the morning. But so in this thing where he was talking in his speech, he was saying what he was going to do after his inauguration. and it was taking down the bad guys. I'll tell you, boy, he's going through the list. And I was like, oh my God, what in the hell is this girl? And then I went in the comments because I was like, okay, so, how am I hearing this so clear? And so I went in the comments expecting others. And so, no, they're all just like, 2024. And it was like, I don't think that he's talking 2024, people. And I only listened to a minute and a half. And so then I went and recorded, and I said, I said the whole thing, like, you should listen for yourself when somebody's talking. Don't listen to what somebody else thinks about what somebody said, because your interpretation can be very different because you have different information. So apparently I have a lot different information, but I have been paying close attention, just like my daughter said. Well, you're kind of paranoid. You're always, you worry about stuff. Well, it's in my nature. It's part of why I'm here, what I'm doing here, and you have to have people like me. So, anyways, when I went on and I said, it sounds like we're about to be having another inauguration coming up here pretty quick. And so then I kept scrolling or whatever. And then I saw another one who was sharing Truth Social, his thing. And so he was all on there saying, like, he is everything's in. So he's telling the courts, you got it all. So how are we going to do this? Are we going to have a new election, or are you just going to remove him? Like, oh, hell yes, God. But I think, I don't know what the numbers are. It's so confusing with the numbers. Like, they weren't ever going to put him back in until the numbers hit a certain amount. It seems like it was 71 or 72% had to be anti-Joe, I think. But another thing that was supposed to go down in Joe's reign was the economy. So then I was like, okay, so if this is coming in hot, are we going to have the economy crash under whose thing? It's all going to go on one person, but are we going to, I don't know, or is he going to crash it? And then that's the last straw. You guys better do something now. I don't know. This is, it's exciting to watch. It is so much. And I heard somebody else talking about it's like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. It is totally, because it is like this game and you're trying to, decipher everything that's going on. So I think it's cool. And then plus I just feel super excited lately. Like, I don't know. I had seen something, we are having all these M-class solar flares, which bring up all sorts of emotion. My daughter's guardian tried to, last night, she's in the hospital. People, I tried to tell my daughter, but when people don't understand soul stuff and energy and stuff, they don't understand. But when all this is coming into the planet, this energy, it makes you have to face yourself. And so many people can't. There's things that get brought up in people's minds, and it's hard. I just saw this other guy talking about his journey. And the hardest thing he said was his judgment towards himself. It's always the judgment towards yourself. And, there's a whole, we're going to be approaching life very different. Like, there's a lot of people like me, there's a certain group of healers. I know we're here to help people in this new development of relationships or something. Like, I don't know. There's just things that I can see clear. And so I don't know. But I wish I could, save the world. I wish I could help everybody. And it is, nobody can hear, nobody can see, nobody can understand until they're to that place. You're literally talking another language, and, another one that was super exciting too. So old fucking Trudeau, he went on, I don't know if he was live. It seemed like he was live on Twitter. And so he was doing some kind of like, oh, he's so wonderful, and he's doing all these interviews, and he's helping out, like he's just the greatest guy in the whole wide world. And then so he goes, I'd really like to talk to all of you. Why don't you guys ask me your questions? And then I guess he got bombarded like 6,000, I think it was almost 7,000 questions, and they were all like pretty basically, why are you such a dick? Why are you against Canadians? Who's your real daddy? That one cracks me up. Who's your real daddy? We all know who's your real daddy. He's Cuban. But anyways, so it was, he that's what's going to keep happening. It's going to keep blowing up in their face. Everything they do is going to blow up in their face. And a lot of it is on purpose. Like some of it, I think like, Trudeau, I think that guy's, his is like the hand of God or something. But like Joe, his is planned. Like, so there's a lot of different things going on. And I saw somebody else talking about like this year, 2023, we'll get to find out the real truth behind the different players, like who's playing what part. Like there's, some people I'm pretty sure I know what part they're playing. But it's going to be curious to see, because there is a lot of people where it's like, man, whose side are they on? And there's more stuff, something else with Elon. No matter what, to me, I don't even know if that guy's human. I swear to God. For all I know, he's some sort of AI thing. Because we are 100%. White people are 100% some sort of lab created people. And I swear to God, that is why white people can't jump. It's like they bred it out of us. They bred us to be weak and control. And they know what sicknesses to hit people with. They know what shiny objects to dangle in front of them to distract them. It is, it's all in the paperwork. Which I just saw this. This was kind of funny too, because everybody is all like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just my page or my FYP, like, I don't know, but so much about the Bellagio or whatever the fuck it's called. And all of those people, but Brittany is on that. They're always talking about Brittany and showing stuff about Brittany and concern for Brittany and this, blah, blah, blah. And so this person was sharing this long video, and I don't know, I think she goes live on Instagram and does weird stuff. I'm not sure. But the thing about this video, so she's like, I don't know, kind of acting out like this skit or something of her talking to a psychiatrist. Like, I'm sure she's been, had to sit and talk to tons of them, and just the dismissive, like, just the ridiculousness of it. And then she starts doing all this just weird stuff. And the thing that was cracking me up is because I do that all day long. So where people were thinking she's gone crazy because she's doing this stuff, I was like, oh my God, I do this all day long. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you'd have to see the video. But she'll do like these like things, and then she'll say something, only she'll say it like a whole bunch of different times in a bunch of different ways and stuff. Like, I do weird stuff. And I do weird stuff. And so, I definitely don't just, sit here quietly and, feel sorry for myself or do nothing. No, I enjoy myself. and so, I don't know. I didn't look at her like she was crazy. So, however, people are going to see what they're going to see. But this one is outrageous. This is, oh my God. So this guy, he was like, I don't normally come on and do these, but I'm pretty upset about something. He goes, this is just too ridiculous. I got to talk about this. And so many of those, so many people having that, because the world is going to continue to get more and more ridiculous. And the more you try and interact with this reality, the more it's going to just be like a slap in the face and ridiculous and all that. And because it's falling apart, and it's so fucking God, I wish everybody would hurry and wake up and see. But so this guy, so I don't know what state he was in. For some reason, Minnesota's coming to my head, but I'm not for sure. But there is a guy who makes dog food there, and so I thought when he was starting the story, the guy was just talking about his own dog food, but apparently he must sell the dog food to other local people. And this is how community will build. But see, the government's got their eyes right on it because they don't want us to start restructuring and building community. But timing is going to shift and it's going to become easy. It's going to become just open up for us. So, you know, we don't have to force it right now, but the desire is building in most of us, like that we want to get out of here. We want to go somewhere. We want our freedom. We want to feed ourselves. We want to take care of ourselves. We just want out. So, this guy was saying that where all these deers get hit in the road, that people, when they see them, they'll pick them up and take them to this guy so that the meat doesn't go to waste, because you're supposed to take it to some other processing plant, you know, so that they can put it in our food. So, you know, because all you got to do is start adding up the numbers. Like, people are not eating beef. People who think they're eating beef are definitely not eating beef. I don't know what all roadkill is mixed in with that, but it's definitely got some, it's all the debris. It's all the junk. It's all the garbage. And even this lady was showing, because she went to Arby's. I'll get back to the deer story, but so she went to Arby's and she was like, because so many people are still going to fast food, like, it's gonna blow up in their face. That's why so much of the shit is coming out and they're not paying attention. It's like, oof, god damn, boy, is this gonna hurt. So, and see how I laugh? I'm a fucking maniacal crazy person. If you're listening to me, just be aware. So she said that when they were there, she said something just wasn't right. Just the food and stuff. Something's weird with the food. Something's different. That's what I've been saying. And she said, and what was really weird at Arby's now, suddenly they have a new burger. She's got, like, they got a burger now. They've never had a burger, but they have a burger. So I looked it up. And they're saying it's some sort of Wynag beef or something. This specific, you know, like Kobe or whatever. I think it's called Kobe. But there's specific beef, like, I don't know, certain kind of cows or whatever, but they're only in Japan or something. Like, we don't even have them over here. And so to say that it's that kind of beef is a complete misrepresentation right there, you know. But maybe they got, you know, a leg off of one of those and then they started growing it in a lab over here. And then they're calling it that. It's probably more likely why. But so it's not authentic. It's not real. But they market it as like this pure, wonderful, you know, stuff. And it's 48% American, whatever it says, Wynagi beef or something. And then what they say, some other percent, and then 2% of blood plasma. And the woman was like, and all of the fast food restaurants apparently over the last couple of years have been sold. And they've all combined, you know, like when Wendy's and Arby's went together, all, you know, like all these different ones started being like, you'd pull up and there's like 3 of them in one place. So they've all been bought out by corporations, like BlackRock is up there. So they went through one, but the one who owns that one. So it's all, everything, all of our food and stuff is being controlled by these people. And so there's no way that they are just, they're telling us that we can't have cows. Like, I don't eat cow anyways, but they're telling you you can't eat cows. But then they're adding more burgers. Like, that's so stupid. And so much stuff coming out about like what's in the burgers and the, oh God, it's so disgusting. It's so sick. Yeah, there was something, I'm just so glad because I didn't eat it from the time I was a kid. And it was weird because when I was a kid, you know, I was in the South and my dad was a farm boy. So, you know, meat was a thing. Like, he wanted to go have steak all the time. He wanted to go out to dinner all the time. We go steakhouses, and I was like, ugh, I don't like steak. So, like, you just sit there chewing and chewing and chewing. Oh, it's so gross to me. And then all the blood keeps going in your mouth. Ugh. And so it really grossed me out. I didn't want to eat it. And I was super, super picky. You know, I would eat ice cream or cookies or something, but real food really grossed me out, especially meat. And, you know, that I ate some through my life. Like, I when I was really young, I loved quarter pounders. That was, I think, the last beef thing I ever ate was a quarter pounder. And that was but that was in the 80s. No, yeah, it would have been like 80, I think 80 or 81. And before that, though, I mean, I wasn't eating all the other stuff. Like, I just didn't like any of it. I just didn't like the texture and stuff. And now I'm just like, oh my God, thank God. I don't know. No matter what, 100%, we've all eaten each other. There's no way around it at this point. Like, and I don't want to know exactly which is the flavor. I'd rather not know. I can kind of guess in my head. But so, that just made me think of something else with the, oh man, what was that? That just popped into my head. Well, anyways, back to the deer thing. So this, the government showed up at this guy's farm. This is a farm out in the middle of nowhere. And just a little simple thing. The government showed up and said they're going to close him down. They're going to fine him, all this stuff. He's not allowed to use any deer meat at all. You're not allowed. The government owns all deers. The government owns all deers at this point. That's what they said. Yeah. So the government owns everything. The government has told us they own this world. There's more of us than them, but they're telling us that they own this world. And, oh yeah, what was that one? I can see it kind of. Because this one too was this, keeps wanting to come. This girl, it was something she was saying. Was it about man, there is a lot of fucking medical nightmare stuff. Fuck. It is so sad too, because I know that, how these people have to, you can't just tell people. They have to experience it. They have to go through the trauma. And, it's going to be sad. There's going to be so many people who are so sick. There's so many people on the internet talking about their symptoms and they don't know what to do. And can somebody help them? And the doctors and hospitals aren't. And every time I start to say something, that comes. Because this woman, she was because this woman, she was talking, because it's starting to sink in with people, so she was talking about all of our stuff. All of the stuff is in everything, in the air, the food, and all that. So she's saying, that they distracted us. They made us think, like, focus on this. And we all focused on that and thought, like, we're not getting any of this stuff. And so we just need to be, and the whole time they're just shoving it in from the back door. It's like, that's what I've been saying the whole time. The ego and the arrogance of the people who thought, like, running around, oh, we're so pure, we're so wonderful. Like, oh, there's still people doing that. It's like, what the hell? Do you eat on this planet? Do you drink on this planet? Do you shower? Do you walk around? Do you breathe? Like, it's bizarro world. Like, and it's true. They are so focused on this. They're just out there just telling everybody what they're doing. And, oh, you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done this. And now you're going to die and all that stuff. It's like the same shit as in all of us. They just have some extra doses. Like, and some of them, and that is all it's all part of the experiment. Like, we don't know. Maybe all the people that had the full dose are already gone. And now the half dose ones are the ones they're watching. Like, it is, it's all very specific experiments and stuff. Like, when you really can wrap your head around, like, we, white people, like, think about how many white people there are. And that we are created. And created for specific, it's like the breeding, the dog breeding. Well, we don't want that in them. Well, we don't want them to do this. We don't want them to do that. We want more of this and less of that, And that is what they're constantly doing. And then they're constantly like, oh, they think they're doing so much good by all their studying medicine and, like they're saving humanity. No, they're destroying it so that they can try and figure out how to save themselves so that they can live forever. Those fucking relics. Like there's no, there's nothing to save them. When you hear, if you go in and listen to his speech, like, he goes through the thing. Once this inauguration occurs, and that's all just, do they have to be each time? Well, yeah, I guess so. So if he would have had to be, because we already know he won, so we would get 4 more years. But it's all going to be of trying to clean up and get this country together, which he was doing it really quick before, Everything was moving fast, where he was bringing back industry and good things for the farmers, good things for the vets. He was doing everything to improve our country. So, but I would think, he's definitely threatening. He's definitely telling them, hey, this is going down. Do what you're going to do, because this is going. And so that is where we have to expect anything. It can happen, I mean, they got no problem blowing up buildings in the middle of a giant city. So we ought to just, ride it out and buckle up. And, no telling what's going to go down next. And Wednesday is supposed to be when my Social Security is put in. I'm definitely not expecting that to go in. Like, I don't know. And that was the money I was going to send my kids for Christmas, so I don't know, but I think that this Christmas is always going to get jacked up, because it's time for this to end, and all this stuff coming out about Christmas, and like the nonsense. Stella, go on the couch if you want to go on the couch. Okay, let me finish this. She just goes and sings by the couch and cries. She used to just get on it all the time. She was always on the couch. If anyone came over and they got on the couch, she would get so mad. So I don't know. I don't know. She's doing way, way better, though. Like, oh, my God. I can't even believe how much better she's doing. And that is something where I feel like, we've gone through some sort of portal. A lot of people felt like there was something that happened the other day. And this girl was talking about something. She's one of these people who talk about the the solar flashes and energy updates and all that stuff. And she was doing something the other day. And she said this, I can't remember the whole thing, but something weird happened. And she said, the only time that this has ever happened, a Mandela effect happened. When this happened, whatever she was doing, like she was in the process of doing something, and like a switch occurred while she was doing it, a jump in our timeline or something. And so she was like, it's weird, but I feel like there's going to be a Mandela. I feel like something just happened. And so then Bob Barker was suddenly alive. And then a lot of people started saying all sorts of stuff. So I definitely feel like there was some sort of and I don't know when these energies come in, depending on your frequency, if it's just all different portals opening up or something. Because everything is, and I mean, they've got another show out now besides Kindred. I just was watching another one, and it was having the same thing with realms and portals. And then, what was that one called? Outer Banks, I think, out in the Wyoming farm with the big sinkhole thing, like. And that's a portal. Like, they're showing, it's like the soft rollout of the truth, to me, is all of that stuff. I know that stuff is true. Like, I don't have to question it. Like, I still see people all day long, oh my God, I really think aliens might be real, and freaking out. And I saw a spaceship, I'm sure. And, all like, so I know this stuff is real. I know the supernatural world is real. Like, it's been real to me my whole life. So I don't know. I mean, it's trippy to watch people genuinely start realizing it and be so like confused. But it's the real world. This world is the created world. This world is the made up one. And it's, made up to, I don't know. It's a game. It's a game it's like a game you can come in and you can be tricked by. And then, I wish I could think of some games to compare it to, but I've never been really big on board games. But like, it's a game where you're being tricked, but you have to see. It's like a mystery. You have to see through it. You have to put on your, your detective skills, your spidey senses, so that you can understand what's going on, because it's on another level. And if you're just focused on the physical part of it, then you're holding yourself back. And once you level up, and it changes the game when you start looking at it from the spiritual perspective and not from the physical perspective. The physical perspective isn't real to begin with. Like, there is no physical world of like what we've been sold. The physical world is still an illusion. It's still a hologram. It's still like it's a created world that we create with our minds basically. But it is so much more vast, because just like in a dream, how your own mind can create or go into other worlds, then this world is created on, but it's like a more massive scale. And then we all create the world together. Like, man, it's hard to explain some of this stuff. Like, I'm telling you, sometimes it is so exhausting. All the stuff that they show me and the stuff they tell me, like 100%, I would say I'm in training for some big thing that's about to happen. And I do think that is true. I do think that there is a lot of us that are being prepared. And, when I see the numbers, and they had showed me that like last year, I think, my stomach's growling. I think I saw that last year, that one time when I was driving in town. And because there's a lot of times I'll be like, man, this just goes on and on and on. When is something going to happen? And when I was driving, all of a sudden they just showed me, and it's weird how they'll show you things and make you understand things in a certain way. But when I was looking at all the traffic and all the people scurrying around as I drove into town, and all of a sudden I felt so alone and overwhelmed by how many people there were. And I was like, oh my God, this is an overwhelming thing to try and be, I don't know what the numbers are going to be. It could be one fully awakened, healed person to every 10,000 people. Like, I don't know. It is definitely very outnumbered. And that's why I said yesterday how they had showed me like it's shown like in a triangle too. But like, if you take the group and then you have the people on the outside, because we're on the outside looking in. And so we're on the outside and they're all on the inside. And they're all facing each other. But when this happens, they're going to be all facing all of us and want somebody to show them the way, to help them understand what's happening, to help them heal and stuff. So, and I think that it's got to be getting close. So if the money thing goes down first, and then we still have all these threats, like they're pushing in, for all these different leaders are pushing in on this, situation here. Fucking Trudeau comes out like that guy is so crazy too, because, I think everybody used to think, oh my God, he's so cool. He's so good looking. He's so young. What a lucky place to have such a cool leader. Man, evil comes in all packages. So, now, if it is that the money thing would crash, then that would be, that's going to be a huge wave. It's going to be like a giant wave that's going to come in. That's going to, it's going to cause a lot of stuff, all different stuff. Like, some people are going to freak the fuck out hard. And there's going to be people who are going to cry, kill. Think about that other crash. What was that, in the 20s? And all those guys were jumping off of the fucking buildings. Like, People really, ooh, with money, like, oh, I love it, love it, love it. So, I don't know. But, so if that is going to be the thing, and then people are just outraged, and then he's going to be removed and the other one put in or something, I don't know. I'm really thinking over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some big stuff. I mean, I'm not on Truth Social, but on TikTok and stuff, you see people share all this stuff. But, you know, he's coming in. He's going in hard. There's no going back. Like, we're just, like, they show me it's like a locomotive, and it's going. You know, locomotives don't stop easily. So this is gonna, I think, you know, it's about to come in hard and strong. And I think it's been clear as we've been watching what they've been doing to Joe, like on the media and stuff. And the guy, he just says one asinine thing after another. Like, he says such stupid stuff. And that's what I'm saying is, like, his stuff is like planned. Like, he's got a script. Like, that guy, I mean, it's gonna be curious how many people are gonna come out, like how many people played Joe during 2020 and 2021. You know, like, it's very curious to see, you know, how many people put that mask on. So that, but that is all scripted to destroy his legacy. See, this other dickhead, I think he's doing it like AOC. Like, yeah, a lot of these people are doing it to themselves, because AOC put out a documentary to show us all about climate changers and how great politicians are and how great she is. And it actually went into theaters. And so it had an opening weekend. I think it was last weekend. The opening weekend made $9,000. So, I don't know. Whoever was breaking it down said, sounds like maybe 6 people in each place it opened. I think it had 81 theaters or something. Like, there's like, nobody gives a shit. And everybody sees through the bullshit. And these people, like, and then when you're paying attention and you're watching the numbers, then you see, like, okay, it would appear most people are awake, but there's just so much to wake up to. So it's just a progression through the whole scenario, the whole situation, you know. And I'm like, I've said, I've seen people be focusing on their spiritual stuff and doing that kind of work, and completely oblivious to all of the other stuff going on. And you know, it's curious, but I feel like every soul has a special plan. So there's a reason why they wanted to get themselves spiritually in alignment to face what's to come, is what I'm assuming. But there's a lot to see, a lot to play out. You know, just like I am very curious when my daughter starts hearing this stuff. I want to know, like, was there any surprises? Because I don't know how you could just live your life just, you know, knowing all this evil is going on. I mean, most of us, once we started finding out, we just start speaking out about it all the time. Like, this is disturbing. This has to stop. You know, I don't want to eat your fucking leftovers from your fucking depravity. Like, and, you know, we shouldn't have to be in fear, like, oh, gather up your children. Oh, you know, we all need to fucking go out and hide in goddamn caves in this world. Stay hidden from these evil motherfuckers. And you think about the past, you know, all the vampires would sweep in and, you know, destroy communities and stuff. That's what these motherfuckers are. That's all. They're just a bunch of fucking vampires. I saw this other person talking about the Bilderbergs and tracing that family back. And it goes back to like Julius Caesar. They were even talking about Jesus, which I don't know. Like, I don't know all these people, you know, if they're getting all this accurate information or whatever. But anyways, this whole thing with the Bilderbergs or something, and, you know, that they're from some other planet or something, and they're here to, I don't know. I know that there's a lot more other planetary stuff going on around here that people, that's a big one you have to wake up to. I just saw this little girl, this mom was filming this little girl. There's a whole bunch of kids like this, whole bunch. that are out there talking about stuff that is way over a lot of people's heads. But this little girl she's cute. She's jumping around and stuff. And so she's telling her mom all this stuff. And she was telling her mom she's a blue avian. And her mom's like, well, what is, because she was telling her she's from somewhere else. And that's where she goes at night when she's in bed. She goes to where she's from. She doesn't stay there. And so her mom was saying, well, where do you go? What do you do? And who are you? And where do you come from? And so she started telling her that she's a blue avian, that she goes back to her planet, that she works at a place where she helps people heal, but they don't cut into people. She said, we use other things and we heal other ways. We don't, she's doing all this because all they're cutting into us and stuff was all so they could make money off of us. That's, we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. It's, God, it's so weird. I just wish people could see what I could see. It's just, it just really would wake people up to, if you could just see everything that I could see. But I know everybody's got it inside of them, and everybody's got, a plan to waking up to all this. So I can't force anybody to see what they can't see. And it's against, that is stepping on somebody else's free will, because it could appear that their free will is being stagnated by this other system, but their soul is playing out a role. So I could sit there trying to force something. Their soul has already got it handled. So me trying to step over their free will, over their, it's like backseat driving, or it's like stepping on somebody with their lines or something. Like, we're all handed a script when we're birthed into this place. And so for me to keep trying to override their script and tell them what they need to do, how they need to do it, that's arrogance. That is fear. That is control. Those are things that we got to let go of. So we have to allow each soul to go through this in their own way, in their own time. But, and all the things, all the challenges that we have to face in order to do that, that's our challenges. Those are our things to heal, our things to manage, So, there's just a lot going on, a lot of stuff, and the whole thing with our spiritual, with the planet, with the awakening, I feel like it's super exciting right now. Now I'm really feeling super excited. And I was really excited in my dream, even if that one part when he was not talking to me or pretending like I wasn't there, pretending like he didn't know me. That kind of is bothersome. But, I don't know what it all means. So much stuff, is new to me, just like it's been new to other people. We all have our own backgrounds where we come from. And I had a spiritual background. I never doubted anything about, having a soul or whatever. And I think that's probably because they were talking to me. Like, I had strong guidance from the time I was a little kid. So I think, I've never doubted any of that stuff. So a lot of this stuff, as it's happening, is easy for me to just slide right in. But there's still a lot of stuff that's super confusing. Like, this soul connection stuff, or this quantum entanglement that you have with people and you haven't even met them yet. This is, it's trippy. Like, this is, I don't know. I'm excited to see. Like, it is such an expansion to our souls, to our existence. Like, everything has been so controlled in our lives for so long to just keep us low and small and repressed. And, if you use this time wisely, you healed and you know a lot of things in your soul. So, I don't know. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. And, today is, I'm pretty sure it's Saturday. So I don't know. Whatever goes on the weekend, it's always hard to know because offices and businesses aren't closed, so definitely the courts aren't. So you can't force them to do something. But I would think this week, I've heard a lot of stuff about the 20th and the 23rd where something with these dates. So I don't know, you know, but I feel like now it's like, you know, we're on the edge of our seats. Like it's at this part of the movie where it's like, oh my God, you know, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? So, and then, but that always is towards the end of the movie. So it's always towards when things go the other direction. And that is, you know, that's what we're looking forward to. Because when it goes the other direction, life is going to change. So, anyways, I didn't talk that much. I don't know if I see some more stuff or anything interesting, I'll come back and talk about it. But I really wanted to talk about that Trump thing. And just, you know, the fact that when I saw her say, you know, she was so disappointed, I was like, okay, well, you know, I guess there was nothing to see. And so I'm not going to worry about seeing it. And then whatever, a few hours later, then there it is. And it was definitely something that I heard terribly different messages than she heard, because I heard this shit is going. Like, it's about to go down. So we'll see. Anyways, if I hear any more stuff, I'll come back and talk. When I said that, it said 45. Okay, I'll talk to you later.